May 1st is usually known as a day of worker solidarity and protest. Various countries and their residents mark this day in ways that are both unique and extremely similar, usually through rallies or demonstrations. Let's check what went on in 6 countries around the world. First, we'll start here at home in Ukraine. In Ukraine, it seems most people see the holiday as a time to leave the cities and head out to the countryside. 2 left-wing political parties, however, rallied in the center of Kyiv to march for Ukrainian workers' rights. The red flags of the Social Democratic Party could be seen everywhere on Krashatik Street. Meanwhile, the Socialist Party held a separate rally a few blocks away. Despite being more political, the participants still shared the same basic concerns as others who marched for Social Security and workers' rights. We're not satisfied with the changes that have been made. The current labor code will change in the interest of employers. We need increases in our pensions. We have very minimal pensions, so we hope that they will raise it earlier than October. Let's go now to have a look at what's going on in Greece. About 10,000 Greeks staged an anti-austerity protest to mark International Labor Day. People of all ages marched peacefully in the streets of Athens and rallied outside the Parliament building. They called on their government not to proceed with reforms which they consider crippling. The Greek government, like all the ones before it, have implemented measures that have only one goal: the crushing of the workers, the working class, and everyone who works themselves to the bone. We are fighting for the survival of the poorest, who need help the most. A quick look at Southeast Asia will find a similar sentiment. In Indonesia, thousands of workers took to the streets of Jakarta, calling for a higher minimum wage and an increase in welfare level for Indonesians. Over in France, thousands of workers in Paris also marched for their rights. But this was a bit more political, as it's less than 1 week before the second round of the French presidential election. Some trade unionists and left-wing activists sought to make the day one of national solidarity against French presidential candidate Marine Le Pen. Marchers clashed violently with riot police, with Molotov cocktails and other projectiles being thrown. Let's see what's happening in Russia. Thousands of Russian Communist Party supporters marched in Moscow city center. Marchers held up Soviet-era flags and carried portraits of Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin. In addition to the communists, more than 100,000 Russian labor union members took part in a march to raise social issues or problems with workers' rights. Events in Turkey were not so peaceful. Although they were forbidden to do so, protesters still marched in Istanbul towards the city's Taksim Square, where they clashed with police. Taksim Square hosted May Day celebrations until 1977, when dozens of people were killed during demonstrations. Although briefly reopened in the late 2000s, it was shut down again in 2013. Yet, despite the violence, many demonstrators remain hopeful. I hope that this May Day will be both a celebration ceremony and a warning to the government that turns a deaf ear to tens of millions of people who don't have job security. The words of this Turkish protester could be uttered by any of the demonstrators in any of the countries we've looked at today. To those who truly believe in it, International Labor Day is about the rights of workers all around the world. This is Vivica Williams with UATV.